It's also good to also recognize all the baristas that have taken time out of their day to also inform and educate people on stuff like this and help separate the truth from the lies that people want you to think.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Let's go ahead and bring the Unionizing Baristas from Birmingham, Alabama into the show. And why don't y'all just go ahead and introduce yourselves?
You want to go first, Tabitha? Or, I'll go first. I'm Kyle Mcguckin. I am a shift supervisor at the 3rd and 20th location. I've been there at the company for about 6 years. My pronouns are he, they.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Sound great.
Oh, I try. My pronouns are she, they. I've been a barista at Starbucks for a little over a year, and I don't have fancy technology, so it was probably easier to set up. So.
Yeah, and your name was Tabitha?
Yeah, that's
Gotcha.
me.
Gotcha. So, Kyle, Tabitha, I appreciate y'all's time, and y'all are unionizing Starbucks baristas with, and you're organizing with Starbucks Workers United. Can you talk to us about what was the catalyst for deciding to begin unionizing?
Do you mind if I take that one, Tabitha? Sure. Awesome. Okay, so let's see. Well, when the New York Roastery won, and I think it was Knoxville, Tennessee location won, first one in the South, we have been eyeing basically the Workers United movement since COVID started and Buffalo really took up. We've been keeping an eye. We'd been building our own little discussions about it, getting some semi-serious talks about it, but just, solidifying it. And when we saw those two locations won, we knew that we had a, large audience meeting with some of the district people and had just heard some things going around the office, as well as just an increase in some not so good interactions with customers that didn't really feel like they weighed out the very good interactions with customers. And we decided, okay, hold on, things are looking good. Let's write the letter and announce. So, basically just increase in tension from two different ends and finally collapse all at once. Mm-hmm.
Right. Tabitha, what about, does that kind of track with how you felt like the campaign kind of started and your interest in it?
Yeah. I mean, generally speaking, as a company, you should want the best for the people that support you as the company. And when we kind of saw that people were able to do something as big as this, we thought, why not just do it as well,
Mm-hmm. How long have y'all been working for Starbucks?
Me, 6 years. Tabitha, how long have you been there?
A year as of April 27th.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so
Happy anniversary.
Y'all been there a pretty good amount of time for, service industry kind of work. Is that pretty normal at that location, or are y'all kind of some of the more senior employees?
Starbucks prides itself on its retention, and we really do try to build a good store with good people. We do pride ourselves on our diversity and just our own little personal mission statement of just trying to get good vibes and good experiences and create authentic moments. So I want to say that on average, we've had partners who've been there at least 2 or 3 years. We try not to lose people early because we try to have really awesome people to have really awesome days at work.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
So it sounds like even, aside from the union campaign itself, y'all really try to build a solid community amongst each other as colleagues. And I'm thinking that probably has really helped and come in handy right about now.
Mhm.
Very much so. I'm sure Tabitha would. Tabitha, you would. I'm sure you have some thoughts on that one as well. I know I've been there 6 years, but you're one of the ones who came in and is training all of the new people. So I would be curious your thoughts on the community.
Well, going back to the whole diversity thing, we do host a quite diverse population, people coming from all backgrounds and gender affiliations. And, being the person that gets to see people from the day they start till the day they, basically succeed, which is like the best part of my job, you get to be at the front of all that. And I see that as a privilege. And through that, I have met a lot of people, and this bond is formed. First impressions do count, so that's why you do want to be who you are and be your best self.
Right.
To help in the future.
Kyle, you said that you've been at Starbucks for 6 years. Why do you think it is that y'all haven't, that right now is the moment that everything that the stars have just kind of started to align, and we're gonna, Starbucks baristas, workers all across the country are saying we're gonna do a union now, as opposed to maybe 6 years ago or 5 years ago or 10 years ago?
Well, there have been. I think the IWW is actually one of the first had some of the first attempts to get some Starbucks to unionize, and there are a couple of stores, maybe at least one I've heard of in Canada. But as far as this big swell of movement, I guess we just have to be cliche and just say COVID did a number on all of us. Prices are going up. It's hard to keep things in stock. And to be perfectly fair to some of the customers who get very agitated, to be fair to them, I don't think they all necessarily because they just don't have the experience we have as baristas and how to make beverages versus what they see online versus whatever their thoughts are. There just comes a point of contention there, just miscommunication versus inability to help with people's needs, right? We're also, personally, I think we're all just extremely disconnected. Let's be real. Starbucks tries to pride itself on having that third place environment where you can have a home away from home. And, when I started 6 years ago, we used to do coffee tastings late at night when I was a closer. We would just take a break, get some cool coffee, and taste with customers. We knew them by name, and we still know some by name. But now it's just become an overwhelming barrage of mobile orders, an overwhelming just line through the drive-through, and we're kind of missing a little bit of that. I don't know if it's just something that's kind of edged away in all of us, even my own store manager. We all feel this something just isn't the same. Something isn't right. And I'm sure as far as the customer base goes to, that level of disconnect, that level of feeling alone in this kind of weird postmodern sense that we're in is causing just people to lash out, to just not have something's wrong with my coffee. I got to lash out. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just anger. It's a very, very angry time when it didn't have to be, and it wasn't,
Right. Why do you think it is that Starbucks has responded to this moment in the way that it has? Before the campaign, there were complaints from baristas like you're talking about, complaints about the culture of the company being different, about treatment by management. This is stuff that the company could have theoretically addressed and potentially even nipped a union campaign in the bud, but they haven't. And then as the union campaign has kicked off, they have responded with, breaking the law, retaliating against workers, and really, really not very partner-friendly behavior before and during the campaign. Why do you think it is that the management has responded to the initial complaints and to the campaign in the way that it has?
say, Tabitha, do you want to take this one or do you want me to take this one? This one might get spicy.
I mean, we both could take it because I'm pretty sure we have equally diverse answers on that.
You first, please.
Oh. How about you first?
Okay, fine. Well, I'm not trying to be a cynic about it, but the fact of the day, we've made a record profit in the quarter. I think Starbucks was beating McDonald's as the number one food sale retail. I could be wrong. Fact check me on that, please. But we're up there.
Mm-hmm.
We're busy.
Right.
We're making more money than ever. And let's just be classical Marxists about it. The only way to profit is from the working class doing labor. And when labor is just the easiest thing to squeeze. So they see profit, we see everything going on. You know, they're not here. They're here now. I've seen a lot of the upper management in my stores of this last week, but haven't seen them for about a year beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, Tabitha.
Well, I think a lot of the fear, especially coming from, the higher ups, especially like the CEO, I think it comes from a place of fear because they're finally realizing that they're like one person, but this one person is over these thousands, millions of employees, basically. And now all these employees are able to feel empowered to have their voices heard. And I feel like after not having your voice heard for so long and you're just daily troubles, you're not being dealt with, we're going to have pushback. And I think that's a big cause. And I forgot what I was going to say, but yeah, people break. And I think the workers have finally broken free of the fear of what could be and now want what should be. So
how has the communication been between yourselves and the larger Starbucks Workers United? How much support have y'all been able to get from, I think even some amount of being difficult to reach would be totally understandable as they're organizing tens of thousands of baristas in what is the largest campaign in the last several decades. But it seems to me that baristas on the ground have been very satisfied with how responsive the union is. And I'm wondering about what your experience has been talking to other baristas in the South. You mentioned that Knoxville was kind of a catalyst for y'all in Birmingham in actually thinking about going forward. How has the communication been and the support been between other baristas, some of the union staff and things like that, and y'all here in Birmingham?
May I take that one, Tabitha? Yeah. I've spoken with Buffalo leadership to get the ball rolling in the beginning. They are very busy. They are very overwhelmed. We have 2 people on the ground who I have been in fairly good communication, as well as with our, legal advisors. But most of the on-the-ground community effort has come from our own customer base, which thank you guys for that, OCAT. The local DSA, our local Amazon and Bamazon workers.
Nice.
We've had a lot of community support from the UMWA.
Good.
I actually went to go visit them during the Easter egg hunt. They came and did a sit-in with us. The RWDSU, even though they're not the main union we've been talking with, they've been very generous enough to open their union hall for us to talk and do some serious logistics work. But as far as Workers United, they've been, I don't go on Twitter, but from what I understand, they've been tweeting things that have happened. So, and I have been in contact with some of the people, but most of the on-the-ground community work is coming from people on the ground supporting us from our customer base and from the baristas at large. So
that is,
and we're not resentful for that. That is not a condemnation for SBU. They've got a lot to do,
no. And I think that is part of the power of the campaign nationally, is that they're able to delegate locally a lot of the support that is needed in a campaign like this. They've been able to delegate really effectively and efficiently a lot of the tasks that maybe union staff would handle from headquarters or from the union hall in other campaigns. They've been able to effectively delegate to local community organizations, to the baristas themselves, in a really efficient manner, and in a way that seems to make the baristas still feel very supported during the campaign, during a campaign in which they're facing a lot of backlash from the company.
Okay. Yeah. I guess I would also just like to say that we definitely all support and appreciate all the help we received from them. I think it's also good to also recognize all the baristas, whether it be like older baristas or even the newer baristas that have taken time out of their day to also inform and educate people on stuff like this and help separate the truth from the lies that people want you to think will happen.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, it might be a little liberal hippy dippy, but I do have to say that I'm very proud of all the partners there. It almost makes you believe in that whole the truth can eventually win, even amongst the lies, as hard as that is to believe in our current climate. But partners have really stood up. Baristas that I would not have expected to just like have a voice have spoken powerful words to some very powerful people. And I'm very thankful to be part of that group with them.
Yeah, let's dig into that. Oh, I'm sorry, Adam?
No, I just said hell yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's really inspiring and just, it's great to hear.
Yeah, let's dig into that, because y'all have had a few anti-union captive audience meetings down in Birmingham, at least two, and y'all had one a day or two ago where it was the store closed, actually?
Yeah.
With a security guard out front.
The store was closed with a security guard out front for the entire day, and it was just captive audience meetings.
Mm-hmm.
What was that? What were they telling you? What was that like?
Tabitha and I had very different meetings. Why don't you let her speak first? Because hers was one of the spicy ones. I'm gonna go take this cat somewhere real fast.
Yeah, Tabitha, what was going on in that in that store?
Basically, well, there was like this one person, this higher up lady that I'd never really seen before, associated or, accompanied by the other DMs in training. And
DMs are district managers, by the way.
Right. Yeah. And basically the whole thing, some of the district managers said something, but most of the meeting revolved around us sort of getting gaslit by this new higher up lady that was just basically just treating us like we were stupid, like we didn't know what we were talking about. And like it caused some of the some of the people there just to aggressively have to like speak their mind, speak the truth. And I mean, they kept bringing up these petty things on the company side, like, well, you still get all these, or like, if you get a union, you still wouldn't be able to wear fake nails or not wear a hat. I mean, we know that that's not what we're aiming for. That's not like quality of life or things that make us safer and help us in the future.
So Tabitha,
whatever.
You mean that you're the driving force between you or that is driving you to challenge a very powerful company. It's not that you just want to wear a hat on the job, like that's not the only thing?
Right. I feel like these
$7 billion in profit, one hat. That's all it took.
Right.
That was the spark.
Yes, but I mean, people don't understand. Like, I mean, for one, I'm not scared of the corporation. Like, for real, I don't care. But like, when you have meetings like that, and then you have direct answers that basically come out to stuff like that and gaslighting the other employees, then there's, I don't think the disconnect can get any more clear than that basically. So
May I jump in on that one for a minute? For disconnect, I can give you two things on that. One of the other catalysts that has been a building block is obviously Alabama passed a scathingly reactionary anti-trans bill, and Starbucks has a lot of trans partners, in case you haven't noticed. And one of our partners lost her health care. And when, in my meeting, we brought up that bill, she didn't know about it. She didn't know about it. She said, "What law? What are you talking about?" That was something that happened. On a similar subject of disconnect, and trigger warning for all of you out there, but when I mentioned the Ashland, Virginia sexual assault case, I just would say go to vice.com and look up the Starbucks sexual assault and how it related to one of my own experiences of SA. The answer I got from that was, well, that wasn't in my district. I don't know anything about that. And that was because my store manager knew about that story, and he comforted me when he heard about this stuff. And because we had to do some work for anti-discrimination and whatnot, and I didn't feel comfortable with some of the language and the stuff. And he was like, "Hey, write your little note. Say what you need to feel." But that level of disconnect from someone who's in corporate wasn't in my district. Oof. And I can't speak for trans partners, whatever my gender identity may be, but not knowing about one of the most reactionary anti-trans bills that just got passed is harsh, not good, we could say.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Tabitha, did you have something that you wanted to add to that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's pretty bad not to know about that, because there's more to that than, just workplace safety. That involves a whole greater. But there was one thing that happened on that captive audience meeting day. Everybody had these big groups of like 4 to 6 people or whatever, and one of the basically brand new or newer employees, one that I trained, I was very lucky to be able to train, and that we were just able to enlighten. Their group was sick. All of them were sick. And I woke up from a nap that morning to basically a frantic text, asking for help, because they figured out that they were going to be the only one in their meeting, being a new partner, being one of, there are, we don't want to identify this partner, even though we love her, but she has her own outside of Starbucks pressures that make her very vulnerable at this job. And it's we are very happy to have her speaking her voice on this, because she's got a lot more to lose than I do, when that's inspiring to see. But point is, she was by herself. Right.
These 3 people that she'd never met before. So
when we both reached out to, management and didn't really have anything back about me going to be with her or her moving to another group, that was just the final straw for me. That need to be as headstrong as possible in that meeting, and she would gaslight us, but then I would gaslight her back, and I think she was just so oblivious to the fact that I was doing that she didn't even know. I mean, she was just contradicting herself at that point, but it's fine.
It's weird. There is a we were straight up told, don't trust the media, they have a bias. That was kind of weird to hear from a progressive company that has spoken out multiple times with the all the stuff going on in our country. It's just strange, just strange. It's that authoritarian mind, it just brings back that authoritarian mindset of the believing cognitively dissonant things at a different time. It's and that if I was online or just out in public, this could be something we could like have a screaming argument about. But because these people have the ability to fire without a write-up
Right.
on the spot, we have to be seriously tactful in our response to how they treat us.
Right. How has you mentioned that there's been some outspoken support from some workers that you might not would have expected. How do you feel about and I also, if I recall correctly, your store filed for a union election with a supermajority of cards signed. That was before any of the captive audience meetings. How do you feel about your majority going into your election?
We're near unanimous.
That's awesome.
Unanimous. There is one person who will most likely vote no, and we understand why. It's not because of it's for a different reason. Or they might abstain. In that case, I would know what that would mean, and that would be hilarious. But I will not give any information on their details.
Right.
But even people who are middle of the road after the just blatant stuff in that meeting, they are furious and they are pro-union now. Like even more than I or Tabitha or any of the other members of the org community. They did a better job radicalizing us than we could. All those copies of Lenin. Just go talk to your corporate people for a day, and you'll be an anarcho-syndicalist in a heartbeat.
There you go. Yeah, a bad boss is the best organizer is a pretty common saying in the labor movement.
Right.
I think.
That is amazing though, to see Starbucks continually do this in store after store and cause this backlash. They're moving people y'all's direction with their behavior, the gaslighting, the targeting of people, the tone deafness of their communication. It's shocking that people who are being paid millions of dollars to come up with these strategies, this is their idea. It is shocking.
Well, some of them got fired. Littler got fired with I don't remember the many millions they got, but yeah.
I saw that there.
I don't want to say any internal information, but I know the company is going through a lot. That's all I'll say.
I did see that the general counsel for Starbucks, like the actual, so Littler Mendelsohn is a union busting law firm that companies often contract, but Starbucks had an in-house general counsel that was recently let go and given an $8 million severance package. Wow. $8 million for...
Kevin Johnson got, $40 million before he left?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean,
nice.
Could you imagine getting a $1 million severance package for sucking ass at your... Right? I mean, your whole job right now during this time as a general counsel at Starbucks is to keep people from unionizing. And you are so bad at your job that you get fired and you get an $8 million severance package. What is the severance for baristas that are let go for cause?
Like the street.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was figuring. Do they even have any severance packages for if you're let go not for cause, but if you're just laid off, like a reduction in force or anything? Do they even give you a severance in that instance?
I think you're able to. I'm actually not sure. I know unemployment being what it is its own nightmare, but as far as Starbucks severance, I think it was national news that Starbucks gave during the pandemic you can work and you can see what hours you can. And, props to my store at this point for being able to provide as many hours as it could in the height of the pandemic. But the other one was you can go on unpaid leave for a little bit. And I think the third was here's $800 or no, it was a paycheck or 2 paychecks, something to that effect. And then we let you go. But I don't remember all the specifics as for right now. I can only say look at your the increase in our houseless population, and that's all I'll say as far as the state of America treating its working class people.
Right, yeah. Bad union busting lawyers getting an $8 million severance package, and at best during the pandemic, and potentially not now at all, but during the pandemic, you were looking at a $400 to $800 check for unionizing or for non-unionizing baristas who are let go because there's not enough work for them. Just totally.
Credit where credit was due. That was a lot more than a lot of people gave, which
Right.
is just depressing.
Yes.
Depressing.
Yeah. But it was not $8 million.
And it's proof that they have the capacity to do
Right.
these things.
If it was $8 million, that would have been bad long ago.
Yeah.
there
I don't know what I would do with $8 million. That I can't even imagine that kind of money.
Buy all the cats.
There you
Donate
go.
it to the union. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you the production value on this show would go through the roof.
Might actually have real professionals.
That's right. Yeah. Might see a new host even. Somebody.
Oh yeah,
somebody
I would be booted out like
You
immediately.
could get some brand management lawyers. You could get
There you
get
go.
your whole corporate office. Then all of a sudden you're going to start getting unionized, and
Yeah,
There you go. There you go.
the circle,
we got you.
Yeah.
the circle repeating.
Yeah, well, so Kyle, Tabitha, I really appreciate your time.
Yes.
Do you have any kind of parting words that you would say to folks listening? Anything that you want to make sure that folks know about y'all's campaign down in Birmingham and across the country,
And how we can support
and
you.
how we can support? Yeah.
Do you want to go first, Tabitha, or do you want me? Okay, I'll go. I would say, whatever your politics are, then, I'm sure it can vary. The movement that we have is not some sort of spite movement. Whatever spicy thing a barista ever says, we love our job. We love each other. And we do love serving you guys out there. So, I think, as you said in when we actually did announce you had an episode about that, don't boycott, but don't feel obligated to come to Starbucks if you don't drink. Please just stop by the store, meet us, say hi, get to talk to us for a little bit. We are people and we like to be treated and respected as people, and we want to, meet you fine people. So come visit us, hang out. But the main people who need to know that this isn't just a partner movement, it's for the entire community, are Starbucks corporate. So if there's any way you can leave reviews, any way you can get in contact with just the local or the higher Starbucks stuff, please do and voice your concerns. There's a pretty chilling thing that said something like, if Starbucks cracked down on the unions, that only a few people would change their minds on the company. For those of you who it would change your minds, please let your voice be heard. And please come say hi to us, and your local partners. We're stressed. We need friends.
Yeah. Tabitha?
I definitely agree with all that Kyle said, and that I hope that, especially partners, in the Southeast and wherever they may be, that are seeing us doing what we're doing and the location that we are doing it, I hope that this could enlighten them to, take the initiative as well and realize that we are bigger than them. So
Yeah, and
we are.
also, I was going to say, to any partners who are randomly listening to the Valley Labor Report, talk to your partners. Come talk to us. We'll get you set up. There are a lot of us. We are partners. Come talk to us.
Yeah. Hit
Yeah.
us up.
We're sorry, one more question. And obviously, I wouldn't want you to tell me the location, but are you aware of any other Starbucks Workers United campaigns at locations in the state?
Yes.
Yeah,
Awesome.
for
Quite
sure.
a few. And I've been SB Workers United has talked to me about expanding efforts with our store leadership. I know myself being one of the people to help out, but yes, partners have reached out. Keep an eye on the state.
Awesome.
Keep an eye out.
Well, we will certainly do that, and I look forward to having many more unionizing baristas from Alabama on the show. Thanks, Kyle and Tabitha. I appreciate it.
Solidarity.
Solidarity.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.